Hi, I'm Gabriella, welcome to my channel. Everyone wants to make money in a way that doesn't feel like work in the traditional sense. I am very definitely one of those people. I've tried making money a lot of different ways. Sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't. None have lasted particularly long, but I stand by them all. They've all been something. So if you too are looking for money-making strategies, I have some ideas for you, and also some stories to go with them. I'm going to go through them in a vague, chronological order as to which they happened in my life. I don't want to go through them in order of which made me the most money, because some of them only made me good amounts of money because of particular circumstances that I had that other people might not be in the same position for. And vice versa, some didn't make me a lot of money but might have made you more if you have different circumstances. So there's going to be some vague attempt at a chronological order of my life. Right. So, first one is quite simple, car boot sales. I've done this a few times in my life. I feel like if you want to make a good profit, you can't do them really often. But if you wait long enough, gather enough clutter naturally in your house, then they can be quite profitable. You just find a local car boot sale, you have to spend money on stickers to price things up, and you're good to go. It's quite easy money really, you just stand around and sell things. I was quite young when we did these, it's been a while since I've done one, but I think it can depend on finding a good car boot sale that's, well publicised and a lot of people go to. It can also then depend on getting a good spot there, but if it's a big one, you'll probably be fine. And also just being a good salesperson in general. Number 2 is a site called Redbubble. The basic premise of this site is that you upload a graphic design and then they sell it on t-shirts, notebooks, mugs, etc, 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 and you get a cut of the profit. Basically, if you're any good at computer design, or even if you're not, you just have some good images, or some funny quotes or sayings or phrases, and you're good at text editing, then great, upload that, and then you're all set. You can set how much profit you make. The more profit you make from it, the more expensive the items will sell for. So then, of course, the less likely they are to sell, the more expensive they are. So it's kind of there's a line you have to tread. Mine are set at 20%, and I just have some really simple sort of music note designs. They're very niche, but I kind of tend to make a couple of pounds every month just passively from having uploaded some designs a few months ago. And I did say this was chronological, so this isn't the first time that I've used Redbubble. I've used it a while ago, several years ago, and my designs were terrible and I think I sold one, but now I'm sort of selling them quite frequently, almost a couple a month, and it's just, a couple of extra pounds. And if you've got a really good design, then you'll probably make more. Yeah, that's an example of something that I'm probably not best suited at. My designs are very simple, very niche, but I'm still making a couple of pounds. If you were very good at graphic design or that sort of thing, you would probably make more. Number 3 is from when I was in school, and our school kind of got us taking part in a scheme called Young Enterprise, where basically I think they set you off with a small budget. I think it was it was maybe about £100, I think, and you basically in groups have to come up with a business plan. You then have to manufacture an item and then sell it. And this is what I mean by some of them only being profitable because of circumstance. Because we were given money to start off with, and we also had a large ready-made customer base of the entire student population at our school that we were allowed to advertise to. We got to stand up in assemblies and, present our ideas to people, to all the other students, which got us a lot of our sales. Also, we did it just before Christmas when everyone was looking for Christmas presents, and because this was a reoccurring thing that happened every year at school, a lot of people already had it in their heads, oh, for Christmas I'll just get one of my family members one of the Young Enterprise things, because there were always several groups and they always had several different products. So my group, we made little handmade bracelets. We basically bought these little metal discs, we bought some cord, and we bought a stamping kit, and then we would hand stamp short messages onto these circles and make them into bracelets. I was at an all-girls school and they sold very well. I think we made over £1,000 in profit, and that was over just a couple of months. That is something I could still potentially do, but it was quite time consuming. I do have a friend who does something very similar, and she does quite well off of it, but it's taken her years to build up. So if you're quite creative and arty, that sort of thing could be something to do, but it does take a lot more time and effort than the last two, and also requires an investment to start up. which could potentially take a while to make back. Number 4 is a quiz night. Now this is something that, again, my circumstance affected because I did this raising money for charity. But people do enjoy quiz nights anyway, like ones I hear about tend to be quite well attended. So if you set one up to run locally, then that could be something that ends up getting you a little bit of extra money on the side. Again, because I was doing it for charity, I ended up getting my venue for free, I got food for free, I got raffle prizes for free so I could run a raffle on the side. People were also willing to pay more for their tickets because it was for charity, so again, another one where I made a lot more because of circumstance. If you're doing it yourself, you'd need your own venue, which probably wouldn't come for free. But what you might be able to do is approach a local pub and see if you could maybe run a quiz night at their pub on their behalf. Probably once or twice a month you'd be looking at, and it would probably be an event for them to get more people in. Their drink sales that night would probably go up, so a lot of pubs might be quite keen to do it. Like, most quizzes I see are pub quizzes, held at the pub so that they can boost their sales, basically. There's loads of different ways you can go about doing it. I know that I ran, not a pub quiz, but carol singing at a local pub, and they gave me, for running it, I think they offered me bottles of alcohol, but that was back when I didn't drink. Not because I wasn't old enough, but because I just didn't like alcohol for quite a while. And so instead of that, they just gave me a meal for me and a friend for free, to be claimed at a later date. So the pub would probably be willing to give you something, or if you wanted to maybe keep the entry money that people paid, you could maybe say, can the pub give whatever they would have given you for running the event as a reward for the winning quiz team? Because, you know, they'd probably be willing to give, you know, free food for a couple of people, provided they pay for the drinks or something. That's usually quite a good deal. This is all a lot of assumptions based on things that have happened to me. It might be very different where you are. If it's something that interests you, I would just try chat it out with the local pub, see what they'd be willing to do. You'd have to think it through quite a lot, talk things through with whatever venue you manage to find, but if you manage to get it set up right, could just be an extra bit of cash every few weeks. Number 5 is YouTube Adsense, the thing that I've never actually gotten any money from, but like back before the new like regulations, you have to have this many like subscribers or like watch time or views or whatever, before they started bringing all of those in to be eligible for monetization, I used to get like, I would see it go up by like 1 penny and then another penny and another penny, and I think I got nearly £1 maybe? I think I had about £1 in my AdSense account. So yeah, you can make money off YouTube. It's a lot of work though. It's taken me 2.5 years and I'm 1/10 of the way towards the new monetization criteria. But when I do reach that criteria, I should actually be at the point where I am actually kind of making some money from YouTube monetization anyway, whereas before, like to this point, I think I've probably made, at this point, I've got just over 10,000 views. If we're working out like the maths, like just a rough estimate, I probably made about £15 from advertising money in the past 2.5 years, so I wouldn't have even been able to claim it yet if I had actually been getting all that ad revenue. That's just a really rough estimate. I don't know for certain, I haven't looked into analytics or like AdSense in quite a while, but it's possible. If you manage to find like your niche, I have abandoned all hopes of a niche. What is a niche? Do I need one? No. But yeah, YouTube's something that I've been doing for years and years now. Before I had this channel, I was posting videos other places. But yeah, if you work really hard at YouTube and you are successful, then it can be a nice little bit of extra cash on the side. So number 6, finally getting closer to present day. Nearly a year ago now, I had a bit of an epiphany. Well, turned out to not be such a great epiphany, but we'll get to that. And it was basically just thinking of things that I could sell online, and I came up with the music note print that I now sell on Redbubble. But for a while, I think there might still be some available on my Etsy account. So I made these stamps. I went and bought like stamp material, I cut out the designs, and then I would use those and like rollers and ink rollers and things to like hand stamp these little prints, like sort of about postcard size. It took a lot of time. The stamps were really difficult to use. Every one that I did, there were probably like 3 that I had to discard because they were wrong, so I was wasting a lot of material and resources. But they're quite cute, and while I was still like selling them, I'd sell a few every month. So that would just be like, you know, 10 quid. I got a bit more from that than I did from Redbubble because I got all the money. I only had to pay very small fees because I was selling the whole image. I didn't need to, you know, give money towards the actual thing being created. I stopped doing it because the time and effort I was putting into the product was not equating to the amount that I was getting for them, and I couldn't really up the prices because the end result wasn't really worth much outside of the effort that I had put into it. So I ended up stopping making those. I think there might be 1 or 2 left that I haven't sold, but I can't remember if the listings have expired or not. But if you're good at making something, then Etsy is a really good place to go to sell it. And speaking of selling things, number 7 is eBay. I've done quite a bit of this in this past year. If you don't have enough things for a car boot sale, eBay is just a really great alternative for anything you have lying around the house. They do have fees, and it does pay to do your research, like check what other people are selling things for, if they're selling, see where you can fit in what you're selling. It can be better to get people to collect in person and pay in cash, because then you don't need to go through PayPal as well, because eBay takes their fee. They take their fee, you know, every sale regardless of how people have paid. But if you go through PayPal, if they pay online, then PayPal also takes a fee. So if you want to avoid double fees, it can be good to get people to collect and pay in cash. And then that's also cheaper because they don't need to pay for postage. My next idea was a bit of a wild one and never actually saw the light of day, despite me actually putting a lot of effort and things into, you know, coming up with the idea and developing it. And that was making a planner. I use a lot of planners and notebooks and diaries and things every single day. And the reason I use so many is because I have not found one that suits my needs completely. So I started designing my own, naturally, as you would. I had everything planned out. I was about to start making digital page templates, and then I looked into actually how you would go about manufacturing one, and I got really scared by the initial startup cost, and also because, like, I don't have a brand, not many people follow me, I don't have, you know, a direct market to sell it towards, so I wasn't willing to take that financial risk. But if you have the money and are willing to, you know, take that financial risk, then, you know, coming up with an idea. I'm not saying you should like create a planner, but if you have an idea, if there's something in your life that you think would be useful but you can't seem to find anywhere, then make it yourself. Start your own business. Like, don't sit around waiting for someone else to make it yourself, and hopefully you'll be able to sell it to other like-minded people. Number 9 was another thing that never quite saw the light of day, and that's basically kind of consultancy. I've always thought that consultancy would be interesting, but I don't really have many areas of expertise, so I was a bit stuck. Then I suddenly realised actually there is one area where I am quite experienced, and that is student committees, like at university and things, because I was on a lot of them, and I know how clubs run, I know how societies run, I know a lot of the problems that they're likely to face, and I've got quite a lot of ideas on how they can fix them. I figured I might be able to set something up, you know, sell some resources, work up to maybe even doing some consultancy for university committees that are facing problems. I thought about it for a long time, but then I kind of came to the conclusion that it was going to be a lot more work than I had time to give, and there would not be a profit in the beginning. So I decided to like just occasionally make videos on the topics every now and again, and hope that people would watch those instead. I've only made one video, and that was, I think, 5 things I learned as president, but I have plans to make more, so if that sort of thing interests you, stay tuned. So in this case, for this idea, if you have an area of expertise that you're like really knowledgeable in, offer some sort of consultancy for it. Freelance consult, create resources. Knowledge is power, or in this case, money. And this leads me to my last point, which is ad revenue from places other than YouTube. You can put Google AdSense on any website that you own. You can create websites for free and put ads on them. Blogs are a good example. I nearly created one for my consultancy idea. made the website and everything before I decided that it was not the direction I needed to be going in at the moment. But if you have knowledge or anything you think would be interesting to other people, reviews, tips, create a website or blog for it and you could get a few pounds here and there from AdSense revenue. So there you have 10 things that I've done or attempted to do in pursuit of getting money without having an actual job. I have had jobs before and I'm currently employed, so just put that out there. Have you done any of these things? What are your experiences with them? Is there anything you've tried that isn't on this list? Let me know in the comments below, I'd love to hear. See you next time, bye!